Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I'm making for Jacob as part of their custom monthly music review. This is a track that we have by an act named Kendrick Lamar titled The Heart Part 5 and we're going to listen through it from start till finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Interesting use of the hand drums.
As I get a little older, I realize life is perspective.
With the jazzy piano.
And my perspective may differ from yours. I want to say thank you to everyone that's been down with me. All my fans, all my beautiful fans. Anyone who's ever gave me a listen. All my people.
I come from a generation of pain where murder is minor. Rebellious and more jealous, a chip you for designer. Belt buckles and cloud overzealous and prone to violence. Make their own turn, be your will of the will alignment. Residue burn, missed at the inner city. Miscommunication to keep homo detector busy. No protection is risky. Desensitized, I vandalize pain. Covered up and camouflage, get used to hearing arsenal rain. Analyze, risk your life, take the charge. Homies, don't fuck your baby mama once you hit the yard. That's culture, 23 hours.
That's culture. You know this is going to be a heavy listen, right?
Lockdown, then somebody called, said your little nephew was shot down. The coaches involved. I done seen niggas do 17, hit the halfway house, get out and get his brains blown out. Looking to buy some weed, car washes played out. New GoFundMe accounts will proceed. A brand new victim, a shatter those dreams. The culture.
I mean, just like those drum fills, the way it comes in with the brass and everything like that. It's such a show. It's a important moment for Kendrick Lamar, I think, this one. It's a big song. The culture.
For my culture, to let y'all know what a nigga look like in a bulletproof Rover. In my mama's sofa was a doodle popper, hair trigger, walk up closer. Ain't no photoshopping, friends bipolar, grab you by your
Whoa, what's happening in this?
pockets. No option if you froze up. I always play the offense. Niggas going to work and selling work, late for work. Working late, praying for work, but he on paperwork. That's the culture. Point the finger, promote you. Remote location, witness protection, they go hold you. The streets.
What was that change in the video there?
Got me fucked up, y'all can miss me. I wanna represent for us. New revolution was up and moving. I'm in Argentina wiping my tears, full of confusion. Water in between us, another peer's been executed. History repeats again. Make amends, then find a nigga with the same skin to do it. But that's the culture, crack a bottle. Hard to deal with the pain when you're sober. By tomorrow, we forget the remains, we start over. That's the problem. Our foundation was trained to accept whatever follows. Dehumanized, insensitive, scrutinized the way we live for you and I. Enemy shook my hand, I can promise I'll meet you in a land where no equal is your equal. Never say I ain't told you. Nah, in a land where hurt people hurt more people. Fuck calling it culture.
It's incredible visual effects to have the different faces and everything like that within the video. I don't really talk much about the videos or like the production value in them when I do these reviews, but there's some incredible statements being made here.
Take the drums out.
It's great just the bass line actually with the breathing.
Celebrate new life when it come back around. The purpose is in the lessons we learning now. Sacrifice personal gain over everything, just to see the next generation better than ours. I wasn't perfect, the skin I was in I truly suffered. Temptation and patience, everything that the body nurtures. I felt the good, I felt the bad, and I felt the worry. But all in all, my productivity has stayed urgent. Face your fears, always knew that I will make it here. Where the energy is magnified and persevered. Consciousness is synchronized and crystal clear. Euphoria is glorified and made his. Reflecting on my life and what I done. Paid dues made rules change out of love. Them same views made schools change curriculums, but didn't change me staring down the barrel of that gun. Should I feel resentful I didn't see my full potential? Should I feel regret about the good that I was into? Everything is everything, this ain't coincidental. I woke up that morning with more heart to give you as I bleed through the speakers, feel my presence. To my brother, to my kids, I'm in heaven. To my mother, to my sis, I'm in heaven. To my father, to my wife, I'm serious, this is heaven. To my friends, make sure you count them blessings. To my fans, make sure you make them investments. And to the killer that spared up my demise, I forgive you, just know your soul's in question.
I forgive you, just know that your soul's in question.
I seen the pain in your pupil when that trigger had squeezed. And though you did me gruesome, I was surely relieved. I completed my mission, wasn't ready to leave, but fulfilled my days, my creator was pleased. I can't stress how I love y'all. I don't need to be in flesh just to hug y'all. The memories recollect just because y'all celebrate me with respect. The unity we protect is above all. And Sam, I be watching over you. Make sure my kids watch all my interviews. Make sure you live out our dreams we produce. Keep that genius in your brain on the move. And to my neighborhood, let the good prevail. Make sure them babies and the leaders out of jail. Look for salvation when troubles get real. Cause you can't help the world until you help yourself. And I can't blame the hood the day that I was killed. You had to see it, that's the only way to feel. And though my physical won't reap the benefits, the energy they carry on admit still, I want you.
Damn. Yeah, this is a hell of a tune, isn't it? I'm going to be careful how I talk about this one. And welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Kendrick Lamar, titled The Heart Part 5. Now, what do I think the song's about? I think it's basically two sides of the equation. I think it's about, the first half is the general sort of comments, maybe the people that he knows, the place that he grew up in, the difficulties that people had, the difficulties with the culture that he talked about, how people wanted things and people got hurt, and there was, like all the stuff that happened because of the culture that was there, whether that was the culture that is or the culture that is perceived and is just seen as like a part of life. I think that Kendrick, the way that he tells this, is inferring that he wants better for people. I think at the end with the second part, he's discussing the perspective of someone who is in heaven who got shot. For them, they're saying, hey, look, I just want the people down below for you to be better and to take better care of yourselves and stuff like that, and to keep, stay. He talks about staying out of jail and everything like that, and making things better for the next generation and everything like that. And I think that's a beautiful thing. It expresses both maybe a disappointment, even though he loves his fans, with some of the behavior of those around him, or like in the places he's talking about, or simultaneously trying to sort of communicate that he wants them to be better in a caring and loving way. I think it's beautiful. The vocal performance from Kendrick Lamar is fantastic. It starts so sincerely at the beginning, where he's trying to again be open and expressive with his fans about how he feels about them, and that this is not, I suppose, meant to be an attack on what they do, who they are, etc. But it's more like just a comment on it, and then he just gets stuck into it. And I think at the end, when he takes away the drums, the energy of a lot of the energy, the rhythmic push forward, it's meant to be more of sort of like a low down kind of, this is where I am right now. I am this person in this position, and I need you to seriously listen to me. This is not a part of the culture. This is, he knows how to tell a story and take a listener through a journey. And I think that's just so important with music, because there are a million ways to write a song. But if you do not give, especially in a longer form factor track like this, 5:37, if you don't try to make the entirety of that length engaging and fascinating, then you're kind of screwing yourself. The flow, with his vocals is phenomenal, very confident, very articulate. The storytelling within the verses, and the I want, is really fascinating with those side vocals, how soft they are and soothing. And you hear sung about the hood wanting the hood to want him back, etc. It was very beautiful to have the contrast between those kind of sort of semi-clean vocals with the more sort of like stable bars. And then that midsection where he says to take away the drums, you just hear him breathing and just kind of figuring stuff out and trying to take it from a different angle. It just makes it seem all the more real and authentic. So I'm stoked with it. I think that At the end, it's a bit more kind of like, it's a little bit softer. You could tell that he was feeling angry and frustrated in the first half, but then later he's a bit more patient to try and again approach from another sort of angle. So I think all in all, it's a very articulate, emotionally mature, just a mature and general performance from a performer who's clearly very experienced and confident in their, at this point in their career, if not before. And yeah, I can understand why Kendrick Lamar is at the top of his game with this level of skill and proficiency. Beyond that, I think that the vocals were done well and the story was done well, but I also think the track itself was excellently composed. We had a really fascinating combination like hand drums and keys at the start, with guitars, bass coming in later on, a sort of central drum groove that got taken away later on, with the vocals and everything else being niched nicely in both the frequency spectrum and the stereo field, not just from a post-production standpoint, but also from an arrangement one. I think that there was a nice, relatively calm, kind of remind me of some of the music from the 70s with like the string and brass sections we had there. It was almost nostalgic in a weird way, as if he was looking back at the past. And I think that maybe it even like looks back at some of the previous generations of music and stuff like that. And so it's looking back at maybe what he listened to as he was growing up or some of the stuff, and saying that that story is still the same today and we need to try and do things differently. So the music told a fascinating story. It was an incredibly competent and compositionally intricate piece of music, with the way that you had those strummed sort of clean guitars, the really kind of punchy sort of synth pad layers there with the drums that were nice and tight, and like, but they weren't overwhelming for the arrangement either. They kept things moving and they had a great presence, but they didn't have like a kind of a kick. They had a kick drum, but they didn't have like bite to them. The bass line was so smooth and sort of well kind of met within the lower ranges, and the keys with an interesting little bit of tension at the start. I think what was nice that you had some extensions, but you also had like a flat second on top that you kind of rose to on the right hand, and I think that indicated a sense of tension within Kendrick's music, not just for like the way he looked at the start of the video with like his arms crossed and stuff like that, but it was wonderful, as if he was concerned about the message he was going to tell. I think just again having the hand drums as an alternative form of percussion with the 16th note pattern, there's a lot of points of interest there. It captures your attention immediately with how much is going on, whilst being so dynamically smooth the entire time, until of course it's just the bass guitar and the breathing, and that's like a nice little low point to kind of switch up a longer form factor track in a way that's very orally pleasing. The accompaniment never becomes as gritty as the tone that Kendrick is using in those, in the sense that, you know, Kendrick's clearly unhappy. The motif behind him is relatively accessible, palatable. It's very suave sounding. It's trying to make it more palatable, I think, for the listener to kind of nod your head along to, but if you really listen to it, you're like, oh shit, there's some truth being spoken here. There's some stuff being laid down. And I think that that's smart, because it makes it kind of catchy, whilst also giving really kind of attentive listeners more of kind of like more to appreciate. I think it is one of those tracks that can appeal to both active and passive listeners. I don't think there was a note out of place, and I thought the actual performance itself was wonderful. So with that out of the way, of the instruments, I mean, in addition to Kendrick Lamar's bars, but I think finally the studio recording, mixing, and mastering is tremendous. I'm really happy with the clarity of everything in the mix. It is clearly commercial grade. The vocals are nice and present. You can hear the breathing and stuff like that, but things aren't too over compressed. It's just wonderful. Again, the strings, brass parts, you know, the guitars, bass, drums, the hand drums. There were so many different components within this, but they were all added so wonderfully and so carefully that it never really fluctuates to a point which is alienating. Again, things are nicely niched in the frequency spectrum, so there's no resonant frequencies. Things are nice and wide in the stereo field, so the music surrounds you again, even in those parts where like, you know, breathing parts with the bass in that midpoint. And then ultimately there is dynamic range though nonetheless, because there are parts where it goes down as well as goes up in intensity, and it's still nice and loud without pumping. So the bus compression limiting is handled well. I mean, effectively, this is my review of this track from an Act 9 Kendrick Lamar titled The Heart Part 5, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show us some love via the various social medias and the YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either hell more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SC Patrons video. Spiderhands up.